You heard it twice. The Atlas Boys.
Yes,
back
sir.
In business.
Back at it again. Let's go.
Back like we never left. But 1 week off. But
yeah, we definitely didn't take a week off.
We had a sick king over here, so it happens.
Listen, my life was on the line. I tried my best.
I just party so much. Atlas Boys in full swing. I'm hyped, man. This is episode 11, man.
Yes, sir.
You know, I'm glad that we're doing it. IG clips blowing up. It's like we got two
no,
likes.
It's been good. No, honestly, the clips have been really like doing well. I think if anything, it seems like people watch the clips more than they watch like the actual like full on podcasts and stuff.
I mean, I'm
so
cool with
only
that.
the real fans will watch the entire thing. So
yeah, I mean, if you're getting value from it in any way, I think that's good. If that's
Yep.
the clips, if that's whatever, right? As long as
Yeah,
you're getting value, we're having tons of fun doing this thing.
Maybe a little too much fun behind the scenes.
No,
you know?
literally. It's so funny. Like people in real life are like, you guys are saying, bro. It's funny.
Okay, I don't even feel like I say bro that much though.
No, we say it a lot.
It's like cue a montage of every time I've said bro.
I'm honestly, because I don't feel like I have enough time to do this, but I might hire somebody from like Fiverr and take just give them all the raw clips and just like bro, like just get all the bros.
Dude.
That'd be awesome.
Well, it's the skateboarder in me though, bro. I almost said bro right this. I'm gonna be super self-conscious about saying bro every time. It's just the skateboarder in me, but dude, bro, man.
I started saying bro. I started saying dude when I was around you because I was always a bro. Like yo, what's up, bro?
Right.
Like since I grew up, like that's just like bro. I call almost everyone bro. It's like so don't feel special. No.
No. Okay, I will say this though. My mom gets so annoyed when I call her bro.
Oh yeah.
Well, because I almost don't even say it as like I'm addressing someone. I almost just say it to begin a sentence.
Yeah, like bro.
And she's like, I'm not your bro. It's just like, all right,
Relax, bro.
Yeah, like, bro, whoa, what's wrong, bro?
Relax, bro. Yeah, it's I love the silly and then serious topics. It's like we do that. Yeah, but like, comment, subscribe.
Yeah, all that.
Please, if leave a comment if you think anybody if you don't like the episode, leave a comment. Right?
Yeah, I mean, if you don't even like us, like leave a comment.
Yeah, honestly,
you don't like
hey,
we'll take
all
it.
press, good press, right? You
just see like behind the scenes, like we're just crying on Instagram,
right?
The hate comments. We'll make a video reacting to the hate comments. After this.
Which is comment, guys, please. We really appreciate it. Make sure you follow us on Instagram.
Yeah, all the social things.
Yeah, we are influencers, and you need to tap in.
Hey,
but the topic on hand today is perception, right? I think we've kind of had episodes like this when we talked about confidence, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. But I think we can even same concept, but kind of taking it a different way. And so we were talking a moment ago about perception, and so a question that I always I've asked people this, like I've graduated high school with. I've asked somebody this weekend about this. Is like, how do you perceive me? Like your first time, perceiving me, the first time you meet me, like what'd you think? Because I'm always curious on what people say.
Well, you want to start off by saying like our first impressions of each other.
Oh yeah,
that would be funny. Yeah, you
go first because yours is funny actually.
Okay, so my thing was. So we met through a friend. So shout out to Austin if you're watching this. Yeah. Definitely responsible for setting us, setting us up and this whole thing. But so what happened was he invited me over to his apartment, and he didn't really tell me like who was coming or whatever. He just said like him and his wife at the time. So like, oh yeah, come over, hang out. So I just showed up. And then he was there. Guys, he looked a lot different than how he looks right now.
I always say I'm going to post a picture or something like that, but I'm actually going to put a picture of, Yeah,
I mean, he had like the dreads and like the whole deal. He looked a lot different, guys. So I remember, we sat down and we were just talking. So I'm kind of like, I didn't really know the guy. So I was like, oh, you know Austin, we're chit-chatting, whatever. Yeah. And so we got on the topic of like, he's a vegan, he's like a photographer. And so I like, initially, guys, I was like, man, this dude is a hippie. Mm-hmm. I like got hippie vibes. I was like, oh, he's cool, whatever. Yeah. We ended up going to the same church. I was like, oh yeah, we can connect or whatever. Mm-hmm. But I would have never guessed we would have been like this close.
Oh no.
Like especially based on my first impression. So first impression, I thought it was a hippie and the whole deal. Because you said he was a vegan for like 7 years or something.
No, it was at that time it was like 4 years actually.
It was a long time.
Yeah, it was a minute. That's some time in. 2 years is enough. Trust me.
Yeah.
So that happened. I show up because also I knew you were going to be there.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh crap.
So you just didn't know I was going to be there, but I knew you were going to be there.
Anyway.
Because he said like, oh, like let's link up with this guy. And so like I met him and I'm like, dude, this guy is so cocky. It's so funny because he had like at the time he had that ring, the lion ring. So you just got the lion ring. I remember because it was your birthday. Your birthday's in January. Yeah. We met at the end of January. Right. Because you're like, I went down to Charleston. I got this ring. You showed me the picture. It's like the whole thing.
No, okay. I will say this though. It is really well. I switched it out now. I've got like kind of a thinner like daily driver kind of one. Mm-hmm. I will say this though. I think I love that ring. And I think to me it has a lot of symbolism. So me like the way that I bought it and the reason why I bought it is it meant a lot to me. Just like the specific design with like the jewel and everything. But I think on paper to people who don't have the context of like the things that I've been through and what it symbolizes to me and why I wear it and even when I wear it, it's like I can see how that could come off like very flashy and whatever. So
it's sick though. I love it. I would wear it today. Like I like that ring. Did I tell you? Which is so funny. Like how similar we are in certain things. I have a ring. I don't know if I told you this or not, but I have a lion ring just as big as that I wore all high school. Way. I wore it all high school. I don't know if I ever told you that, but I have a ring.
I had a lion necklace. But it wasn't as cool as my ring. But like I had a lion necklace.
But no, I had this huge lion ring that I used to wear. Yeah. I lost it in like a rental car or something like that. I think in Atlanta or something. And it was, No,
that's a bad habit of mine. I do this with my sunglasses and my ring. Like I'll be washing my hands or something and just like I'll take it off and put it down. I always have this fear of like just leaving it.
Oh yeah. And especially when you drop a nice amount on some rings.
I was gonna say it starts getting that would hurt. Yeah,
because I do that with mine too. Like I'll take it off just anywhere and be
and it's not even like this one's like a little bit more affordable than the other one. Like my other one's like much more expensive. But the problem is like, I think for me, it's like I feel like I can only wear it in certain situations and like, but it's also
very situational.
Well, and I couldn't get it online, so I had to like drive to Charleston to get it. So like a part of me was like not even the money, but it's like for me to go out of my way to get it, it's like that would have been a nightmare.
Well, yeah, and plus you really like it, so it's like you're gonna do that. It. Yeah. No, I really like that ring as well. Back to perception. Now back to perception. So I met you. Thought you were like, a little cocky guy. I thought you were cool. In the media buyer stuff. So I kind of had this thought about you. I'm more the creative brain, and so I met you and was like, okay, this is cool, and all right, let's see what this guy's doing. And then like 2 months later, we go to Miami.
Yeah,
literally.
Well, no, and to me that was a really like spontaneous thing as well because for me in general, I love to travel, so like I'm a big like travel guy. But to me, I don't have anyone that wants to travel the way that I want to travel, and so like I want to visit new places because I think for me, like my family, even like my immediate friend circle for the most part, they kind of go to the same spots, and like to me, it's like I want to experience different cultures, I want to see different things, and so for me, I was like, well, no, originally we were planning out LA. It was me, you, and like I think 2 or 3 other guys. I'm like, oh, we're gonna do LA. Whole thing fell apart.
Like
we were
second,
we were mad.
I was pissed because I was like, we're going to LA.
Yeah, well, and I think especially for us, like within the context of like what we do, and just, LA is just it's like it's iconic. Yeah. So we were like, all right, where can we still go that will be fun, but it's not like super expensive. So we did LA or we did Miami, and that was a big deal for me, man, because I normally, especially with someone who I just met like that,
and knowing this dude. I've probably known you for 2.5 years. Yeah. Almost 3 years, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty much 3 years because I met you right when I moved
3 years.
So it's
I think in January.
Yeah, January would be 3. Yeah, we gotta like throw a banger or something like that. Because our birthdays in the middle of each other. February. I'm February. He's January.
Las Vegas.
Yeah. Coming soon. Atlas vlog.
Las Vegas vlog. Let's get it.
Right. Oh gosh. Dude, what is that? Yeah, no, but now knowing you, it's been like 3 years.
Yeah.
You would never do that with anyone. No. You know what I mean? So like that kind of, I think about that like, oh no, that's my guy. Yeah. The fact that we went on that trip.
Well, it is a thing like we talk about friendship a lot, but I think it is like a vibe. You know what I mean? How sometimes like you can know, and I'm sure you guys relate to this as well. How sometimes on paper you'll know someone for a very long time, but you don't really feel like that close to them. It's like, okay, so I've known you, but we're not close. And some people, it's like, we were going to elevation pretty often. It's like we would see each other, on a weekly basis, but it's still
maybe
like,
once a week. I mean, it was deep in. Yeah. So like, let's say we met each other and then it was maybe 3 months and then we went. Right. But like that first month and a half, we didn't even really go out to lunch after that.
No.
Which is crazy because we go out to lunch a lot.
Yeah, well, especially now that we have the crew and stuff, like we go out all the time. But like,
right, it's like we're always out to lunch with people.
Yeah, but we would like go to church and then just break off after.
Yeah, it's like, all right, man. All right, maybe we'll like exchange words in the parking lot. Oh, that was such a good sermon. Right. But then, 3 months later, like,
I don't know, because to me at the time, I think like on paper, knowing myself, it definitely was like crazy that I would even do that. But it didn't feel like a stretch to me. So maybe it is like just being comfortable with people and just kind of having like some chemistry with people. Like,
no, it's a vibe. Yeah, because I guess it just shows you how fast chemistry could vibe, or like if you have chemistry, how fast like that relationship could come together.
Yeah.
Because again, it's like, you know, we've known each other only for 3 years. But on the outside looking in, people are like, oh, you guys known each other for like, what, 10 plus years?
That's
like,
always interesting to see as well.
Yeah, because everyone says that about us.
Well, and here's the thing too, like traveling with the wrong, and I'm sure you guys experience this as well, traveling with the wrong people can be a dumpster fire, man. Like, I mean, easily, like, let's say, like, if for some reason we had a problem, I mean, so now we're stuck in Miami together for like 3 or 4 days.
In this room.
Yeah, I mean, it was like, I mean, it's a beautiful room, though. I mean, it was small, but it was like beautiful high-rise, corner apartment, like the view.
It was small enough to, if you don't like the person, it's a problem.
It's a problem. Yeah, it's definitely a problem.
But it was a vibe still. Maybe I'll throw some stuff up. I always say that, but I never do it. Maybe I'll throw like a video or something.
Yeah, something will be up on the screen eventually at some point.
I promise this time I will.
Yeah, so that was just crazy for me looking back on that experience, though, and I'm glad I did it. You know, because I think for me, pushing out of your comfort zone and doing things you wouldn't normally do, I think is definitely healthy. But it didn't feel as much of a stretch as I thought it would, which is interesting.
No, it was fun once we got there. It was a vibe. The Airbnb guy was really cool.
Yeah,
but you thought it was a woman that was coming up, and then it was a guy that was.
We got bamboozled. Listen, I was told I was going to meet a beautiful Hispanic woman, and she was going to meet me at the building, and then some dude walks out. Yeah, and I was like, I mean, I bought the room, so like, okay, it's not a big deal.
34-year-old guy.
I was just like, all right.
It was definitely weird.
I got a little clickbaited, but whatever.
The red flags, but whatever.
I mean, but once we got, especially like the way I remember just walking in and just taking it all in, and I was like, it was like nighttime, there's the water, the city. I mean, it was just beautiful.
Dude, that one a Drake song that I just can't get out of my mind. Look at my history. I'm trying to see what's different from the guy. Yo, that song is like that whole summer for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
well, and it's interesting too because how you have like songs or even like I think Cologne does the same thing for me. It'll bring you back, and so that's a little hack for you guys who travel. Like play a new song in a new environment. And then
that song was
when you get back home, it just came out. And so whenever you come back home, you'll always think of that memory or that person or that place. And so now whenever we listen to A Murder by Drake, we think of the high-rise apartment vibes, Miami.
No, that brings me right back to Miami.
No, literally.
Like the moment it comes on, I'm like, oh, I love it, you know. Then the lights, that was a vibe.
Yeah, so definitely, I mean, traveling for me has been really important because I like to reminisce about my top 3 to 5 like best moments of my life, and I'm always curious to ask people like what they feel like theirs are so far. And I would say like at least 3 out of 5 of mine have been traveling, like just getting out, seeing something new, you know, being with the right people, like so much better.
You know, I think it makes me mad because like I definitely have like, you know, top 3 things that's happened in my life, but for some reason I can't put them together. Like I don't know why. Like I have maybe little moments that I just like really loved, but I can't put things together like that, which I want to, because it's like why can I remember that, you know?
Well, see, but I think what makes you want to pick what you feel like your top 3, top 5, whatever moments are, is it also tells me this, because I'm very observant, so sometimes I'll ask questions to see how people react and just do this little thing. But to me, when people tell me that, it almost lets me know that what do you prioritize and what do you care about? Right. Because I'm really curious to see what people say. So for me, like I think 3 out of 5 of mine were traveling. So what do I care about? I care about my friends. I care about experiences, and I care about freedom. Like, you know, being able to go out, have fun, travel, see stuff, experience new things, and keep it fresh. Because especially during COVID, man, things have gotten really monotonous. Yeah. And that was a big, I mean, even before COVID, we were like, we felt like the routine was monotonous. So we're overdue for a trip.
Yeah, no, we had a 2020, like our 2020 plan was like, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. I was going to fly for a job, for a video gig in LA. Yeah. Dude, like I was going to be on the move. Then it's like, yo, COVID came, I was like,
we played in New York. Like we do like, you know, LA, New York, like the whole thing. And
like,
then
we were on a tour. We were on a tour.
Yeah.
And then, you know, Sir COVID was like, nah, my guy.
Yeah, I mean,
stop all of it.
Well, and then things have gotten so political now with like different cities, and so like you can't even do the stuff you want to do, and then you know it becomes this whole thing. Yeah. So as the planner of the group, it's become a logistical nightmare.
It's funny. I was just telling somebody that the other day. I was like, you know, because I'm definitely like planning and stuff like that, but I think my planning is specific to like my life, and so it's like I have a really structured thing out, but you're like that with literally everything, right? Yep. So it's like I was telling somebody that the other day. I was like, oh yeah, because they said they were traveling a lot, and I was like, okay, cool. It's like, you know, where are you traveling? They were telling me about like you gotta go to San Diego, this, that, and the third. Yeah. And she was like, yeah, let me know, because then I can like send you like this travel itinerary thing. I was like, man, my friend, he's like, he got it. I was like, send it to him. I was like, yeah, I was like, that's his thing. He'll send me the Google Doc and I'll look it over, which I appreciate.
Oh, for sure. Well, I think it's almost like, I mean, we talk about, I think we've kind of gone over this a little bit, not on this podcast, but like just in private about. It's almost like when you have a friend group, there's different roles within the group. And so I think it's even, last night we were talking to people about this too, about how like certain people will have more like free flowing personalities and like they kind of thrive and like they're very spontaneous and they have fun. And I think for me, not that I'm a control freak, but I appreciate structure and I thrive in structure. So when my room is messy, when I don't really have a plan for the day, all these things, like I just kind of feel like I'm just out of sync.
Yeah,
but then some people hate lists, hate to-do lists and all this other stuff.
I don't agree
and they
with
refuse to it, and they just like to just, how do I feel? What do I want to do? Some people will just like walk around. Like, I don't know what I'm doing or what's going on, but I'm just going to walk around.
Yeah,
that's something I would never do.
I'm a dead set like 50-50, but like with certain stuff, like my room can't look a mess. Like I need to have it a certain way in order for me to function mentally. Yeah, and so it's almost unhealthy sometimes. But I really like to have my room a certain way. I like my daily list, like a power list of like what I'm gonna get done that day. But there's definitely some things where I'm just like, hey man, like let's just see, because there's been times where you're like, I'm like, yo man, like let's just see.
Well, and I think that's why Miami went so well, is because I think for me, like I did all like booked the flights, got the Airbnb, the whole thing, and so I was like in the airport trying to like figure out what to do and stuff, and then he was like that chill vibe. I was like, hey man, we're on vacation.
It's like it's right over there, just go. Like it's like for me, it's like if I got some coffee, good music, good people, I'm vibing.
Well, so I think if anything, like that goes to the point about the friendship stuff. About you need to have people that compliment you in your life, because I think the reason why like I think our friendship works so well is because you are like that easygoing, have fun, like, but not like in a chaotic kind of way, right? But like just in a smooth, like, hey, it's gonna be all good, let's just vibe. And then I'm kind of like coming in with the structure and the plan, and so I think we, give each other out pretty well. So just find people who that even you out, and it creates a good dynamic. And I feel like I love the dynamic we have now with our group now. Like shout out to Evan,
and it's seen from other people, and then now adding on Evan. Shout out to Evan, right?
Yeah, bro, so much fun, dude.
The dynamic duos, right? But I think that's still. But honestly, like even talking about this kind of is making me think about perception, right? So even when you first meet something, because we were talking about this of like it's how you place this thought, right? Because a lot of people are like, don't care what people think about you. I think that's trash advice, right?
I hate that.
I think you care, because even like I'm about the Bible, right? Every time I see something from the Bible, I always feel like,
well, it's almost like we read the Bible,
right? It's almost like I know what the thing is.
It's almost like we're Christians or something.
But the Bible says like you want to have a good name in the world, right? So you don't want to just go around hurting people's feelings or not caring, because then that means you don't care about the people that I feel like God put on this earth, and I don't feel like that's a natural order of life. And so I think you do, you care about what people have to say. I think it's different when you allow that opinion to control you. So now, if someone's like, oh, let's say they said something bad about you, and then now that's all you can think about, and then it's making you anxious and all that kind of stuff. Now, I think that is a wrong way to look at it. Now, if someone says something about you and you don't necessarily agree, I'm curious what you have to think about this, but it's this thing when people like, when one person says it, it's not true. If a second person says it, it maybe could be a little true, but if 5 people are saying it, it could be true. What do you think about that thought? Because sometimes I used to be real hard on like that's true, but I'm like, that's not necessarily true, because some people have trash takes.
Well, no, and here's the thing too, and there's definitely like a herd effect that happens when it comes to people's opinions or hot takes on stuff. Because I've been in a room full of okay, so I'll take a trip down memory lane or whatever. So for me, I went to a local community college and I got my associate's degree before I got into business and started working with agencies and stuff like that. And so at the time, I was in a communications class and things just got really political. And I was like, man, I just don't like where this is going right now. And then I started getting into it with the teacher. Basically, it was respectful, but we just really had like a pretty harsh like difference between what we thought about things. And how, like, a lot of people were like, yeah. And there were probably like 20 people who probably agree with what the teacher was saying. But I was like, no, like, that's just wrong. Like, statistically, like, I'm looking at the chart right now. I'm like, that's just incorrect. So I think you can't let other people determine, just because there's more people who think that way. Yeah, that doesn't determine what's right and wrong. I think a lot of people get lost in that kind of gray area of like, oh, well, if everyone in the room thinks that this is okay, then it's okay. And I'm like, no. Like, truth is truth, and truth is not subjective. And that's even a hot take nowadays as well.
Oh my gosh, subjective, But what I will say, like, I think I've said this before, but like, just, it's okay to be wrong. Right. But I think it's also okay to have your own opinion, right? Because like, if I think this thing is true and I'm gonna, also, I love to debate, right? Like, I just, whether it could be the smallest thing, like, you know, the sky is blue. I'm like, is it? Or is it is it a shade of green?
Like you don't even disagree with that? Like you're just starting something?
No, dude, I mean, I do that.
I don't know. That's where you're wrong.
Yeah, no, but I do that all the time. Like if you just see me, like, I could debate about something I actually really don't care about. Right. But like just to kind of get that out of
fun.
people.
Part of it is just like fun, just to like go back and forth with somebody.
Yeah, because like I like to see how people think and how they like really getting their ideas out. Because my one friend, he'll be like, he'll tell me something. He's like, I don't want to argue with it right now. He's like, let me just hear me out. And I'm like, all right, you know, I have to back up. But I think that's healthy, like healthy disagreement. I think it's good. And now it's so unhealthy when people don't want to disagree with anything, because, you know, I'm gonna go real like, not everyone is a monolith. Not everyone thinks the same, right?
I'm different.
Oh my gosh, you want to use all the political terms and everything like that nowadays, but no, not everyone thinks the same, and I think it's good to have that healthy disagreement, because I almost say if you can't disagree with somebody, is that a real relationship? Like if you're not willing,
there's a lot of people who are walking on thin ice with certain people. How like, if you bring up this topic, if you disagree with them about this, the whole thing could explode, and I don't want to be walking on ice with anybody, man.
No, because that's weird, man. That's like, you know, again, people, I think we said this a while ago, like people hang out with people they don't like. Yo, that's weird.
That could not be me, bro.
Or they have this weird energy with, like, to me, I'm like, yo, let's get down to the bottom of it, right? And I'm a very, like, not cold, but like, I'll tell you how it is, right?
I mean, direct.
You know, I'm a direct out of love. Like, it's always out of love. Yeah. But you know, a lot of people can't handle that. Like, you know, they'll cry. Literally.
Or it's intimidating for some people as well. Well, because especially there's a lot of personalities that are not confrontational at all, and so you'll be, I mean, even like playfully, we'll be direct with somebody about something, and they're like, "Whoa!" Like, they think it's more serious than it is, when it really wasn't that serious. But now they think it's serious, and now you've got to like talk to them about how it's not serious. And it becomes like this whole thing you almost have to like diffuse.
Right, and I think it's funny too, because like realistically, like there's a side of me that's like energetic, but I'm like underneath, I'm like really chill, like on that underneath side, and so it's like I do like head off with this like really strong personality, and then when I fully dial back, people are like, "What the heck just happened?" Kind of throw them off.
Well, I feel like for me, I'm very sarcastic, and so I think I say a lot of things that I don't know if they come off like mean or something, but people just, I think, misinterpret the sarcasm. I gave up on being sarcastic over text. Oh my gosh! I mean, talking about friends, like, thinking stuff's weird, like girls think I'm like flirting with them when I'm really not, but now it looks like I am because the way the sound, like, it's just, you know, sarcasm, for all my sarcastic people out there, it's a struggle. You know what I'm talking about.
Rough. Yeah, it's rough. I think there was even a joke that I said among, like, in a group that we're in or whatever, and like no one laughed, and I'm like,
well, and it makes you look like the weirdo, dude. And that's the part I hate about it, is like, because I remember you were saying how, like, oh yeah, like I saw that you liked the joke or whatever. Yeah. Because I peeped it, and then like nobody else was, you know.
Yeah, no, like no one said anything to it. And I'm like, that was really funny. But I'm like, I guess the only person that would get it is the person that's just as sarcastic as me. So it's like I understand how that could, like, it was read weird of like.
Well, and I think that's the important thing to remember too, especially when I'm being very sarcastic. It's like it sounds like a weird thing to say, but I know me, and I know what I meant by something. But if someone doesn't really know me as well as like maybe like you, or like someone who's a little bit closer to me, and they know I'm kidding, but the person that is like potentially getting offended doesn't know. Oh my god! I was thinking this. If the person that like you're speaking to doesn't know who you are, then like it can get really misconstrued and just get weird really quick. So honestly, being sarcastic is kind of risky.
Well, but here's my thing. Because I think, you know, you have a good name, and you do everything out the kindness of your heart, right? You do it too much.
This whole podcast is chalk.
Flip the table. That was funny. You know, you try to have a good name, and, you know, you do everything out of the kindness of your heart. But at the end of the day, it really isn't your job to make sure every single person knows. Because, again, I think you start with this, hey, I'm doing this out of the kindness of my heart, and I hope that people can understand what I'm saying. Yeah. And if someone, you know, misunderstands you, I think that's, you know, you take it a step further and try to explain yourself. But if they don't want to, you know, try to understand you, then it's like, whatever, man, like, you know, forget you.
Well, no, that's the thing too, like, you know what you meant by something, you know who you are, and you know what you meant. So even if somebody comes back and like turns around like, oh, well, you're like this, or you're whatever, it's like, okay, you know, I think there's a temperature check where you have to legitimately ask yourself, like, oh, am I being that way? Like, is that how I feel? But then you're like, oh, wait, no, they just don't understand it because they don't know me that well. And then you kind of readdress things from there. But yeah, that was something that, I mean, even before the podcast we talked about, just about, you know, I was saying how like, oh, well, I feel like I want to say this, but I think people are going to misinterpret that. And I like what you said about how it's almost like you're not really responsible for how people take things if you know your intentions going into it.
Yeah, no, I think that's a good way to look at a lot of things. Again, I think